Super cute. Thank you for sending that one along to us. Quite a lot of snow on the ground throughout much of the region. In Toronto proper, not quite as much. If you go toward Kitchener-Waterloo, Barrie, for instance, that's where we're seeing those snowfall amounts accumulate even throughout much of your weekend because of lake effect. And we'll talk about this because for many in Ontario and Quebec, it's really just a story of cold air. But notice this area of high pressure and a trough swinging to the south. That's going to be creating the story of your wind. So the lake still relatively warm compared to the frigid temperatures that we're dealing with. Strong gusty winds about that 30 to 50 kilometer per hour range. So yes, lake effect still a risk. And we've been seeing this really, I think, every day since about Thursday for many in those traditional snowbelt regions. Winds becoming a little bit more westerly. So we're watching of this band coming off of Georgian Bay, blowing toward the Barrie area, even Newmarket, Lake Simcoe, for instance, those areas, Orillia and east of Georgian Bay throughout your day and then into Sunday too. So that could drop about 5 to 10 centimeters of snow. For everyone else, Toronto, for instance, you're pretty much in the clear. You're traveling a little bit east of the GTA. You might run into some snowfall. Heaviest squall, though, further north. So with lake effect squalls, that appears to be nice and sunny, a gorgeous day. And then once you drive or go into that snow squall, the visibility can really, really quickly diminish. So something to keep in mind if you are traveling north of Toronto. This evening, -3 in Toronto, feeling like -9 in Windsor, -5. Those in parts of northern Ontario, it is frigid. And your overnight low with a wind chill of -12. We'll have more details just ahead, but right now 2 degrees with Chris St. Clair. Hey there, hope you're having a fantastic weekend. You can tell there's a system brewing stateside, and that brings the risk for heavy rain and snow, and we'll talk about this in just a moment, so definitely stay tuned. Across BC, Pacific moisture moving onshore, lower elevation showers, higher elevation snow, and also watch out for strong gusty winds, especially for those exposed coastal areas. Parts of Vancouver Island could see winds 80 to 100 kilometers per hour through this weekend. If you are traveling in the passes, keep in mind the risk for snow. Higher elevations, good news if you're a skier or snowboarder. Even the Fraser Valley could see about 2 to 4 centimeters, and areas like the sea to sky up to about 10-15. -10 in Dauphin for this evening, -14 in Regina, and -8 in Calgary. Alberta, your temperature's a little bit milder. Calgary for Sunday, your daytime high is actually about +4, so get outside and enjoy that. In Ontario, lake effect is the story for those areas across the south. We are watching for winds to become a little bit more westerly, so this band becoming more organized coming off of Georgian Bay brings the potential for some messy travel conditions if you are on, for instance, a 400 or maybe even Highway 11. Give yourself some extra time, about 5 to 10 centimeters through the day today before finally easing. For everyone else, it has really been a nice sunny day, but with that risk for lake effect, if you drive into a squall, that nice sunny day can really change quickly. Into northeastern areas, cold front swings south, and that brings the risk for some light flurries. Meanwhile, Atlantic Canada, sea effects still happening, parts of Cape Breton Island, and if you are in Newfoundland, still holding on to the risk for about 5 to 10 centimeters for the Avalon. Meanwhile, stateside flooding rain potential with snow further north into North Carolina, Virginia, really ramping up into Sunday, where some areas could pick up over 50 centimeters of snow. Hey there, you're watching the Weather Network. Across the country, if you look across the continent, I guess you can see where a lot of the active weather is happening stateside. But for us across the country, we're dealing with sea effect and lake effect. Across parts of Ontario, watching for a band coming off of Georgian Bay especially, and that's when these winds become a little bit more westerly. So giving conditions the southern and eastern sides of Lake Huron a little bit of relief. Bruce Peninsula still going to be snowy for you. We're looking at around that 5 to 10 centimeter range through your day today before finally easing into Sunday. Parts of Quebec are pretty clear, but temperatures cold for many Canadians, especially Atlantic Canada, northern Quebec, parts of Labrador. We're going to be seeing wind chills overnight in the -30s, and even the Maritimes are well below seasonal. With cold temperatures, strong northwesterly winds in the warm waters, we are going to be watching for sea effect through your weekend, about 5 to 15 centimeters for parts of Cape Breton Island, western peninsula of Newfoundland as well. And if you're on the Avalon wondering what that snow is, that's all due to the system that's going to still be pushing off through the rest of your weekend. Meanwhile, it's a rather unsettled start to your weekend, and that's going to be the pattern that we set up with throughout much of the week. Looking at rain in those lower elevations, higher elevations getting into the snowfall. So good news if you are a skier or a snowboarder, because in those alpine levels, you're going to have some fresh powder if you are heading out. However, temperatures are cold all across the country, cold enough to make snow. Check this out. Hey there, thanks for making us a part of your weekend. Hope you're having a great one. Across the country, there's not really major systems to talk about. There's a lot of cold Arctic air and sea effect, also lake effect with that cold air and those strong winds. So watching out for areas in the Maritimes. If you are in Cape Breton Island, that's likely going to linger through your Sunday and even parts of PEI. For those in Newfoundland, system snow still happening and still bringing about 5 to 10 centimeters of parts of the Avalon before finally easing. If you are in Ontario, it's not sea effect, but lake effect through your day and into Sunday, with winds transitioning to become more westerly. So that's going to help really keep those bands meandering and becoming more on the east of Georgian Bay. But through your day today, we're watching for an organized band coming off of Georgian Bay through the Barrie area and through areas like Lake Simcoe, for instance, about 5 to 10 centimeters of snow for you. Meanwhile, to BC, you've been dealing with a lot of sunshine and a dry pattern. It has been absolutely gorgeous. Unfortunately, we're back into the Pacific moisture, bringing lower elevation showers, higher elevation seeing snow. We'll talk more about this, but right now, Mia Gordon kind of answers the question for us. What do you think about a white Christmas in the lower mainland? Awesome stuff. Thanks, Mia, for that. And throughout your day today, we're dealing with showers in Vancouver, so no snow for you. Fraser Valley, though, could pick up about 2 to 4 centimeters through those passes. Sea to sky, closer to 10 likely, with the freezing levels rising into Sunday with that next push of moisture by your pre-dawn hours Sunday. Temperatures on the prairies, frigid cold. We've got a little bit of snow on the ground, and the conditions nice and sunny, but minus 14 in Regina without the wind chill. One of our top stories at theweathernetwork.com. Recently, the National Geographic picked its top photos from 2018, with this one taking the top spot. As you can see here, thousands of Audi and Volkswagen cars sitting in a desert in California. And this is after Audi and Volkswagen essentially cheated emissions tests, and those vehicles all had to be recalled. You can check out this story online at theweathernetwork.com. Super cute. Chris May and Michelle Mackey, thanks guys for that. Puts a smile on your face for sure. So glad you can make us a part of your weekend. In terms of your weather, we're watching for lake effect across parts of southern Ontario, even toward cottage country too, with those strong northwesterly or westerly winds that are transitioning to become more westerly. So we'll see those bands meander, but likely a more organized band coming off of Georgian Bay. If you are south or east of Lake Huron, you might get into a little bit of relief. But the last couple of days we've been dealing with lake effect for those areas. So there is actually quite a bit of snow on the ground, and if you are someone who maybe snowmobiles up toward the snowbelt regions or skier or snowboarder, maybe it's exciting for you. Atlantic Canada, a lot of cold air in place, northwesterly winds creating sea effect, especially into the Maritimes and even parts of the western areas of Newfoundland. If you are in the Avalon, we're going to be dealing with about 5 to 10 centimeters with that departing low. Meanwhile, to BC, Pacific moisture has made a comeback. Lower elevation showers, heaviest for those in Vancouver Island. Strong wind gusts today, higher elevation seeing snow. The wet pattern, though, it sticks with us throughout much of the week. You can find out more details in your local forecast.